Well, the Trump administration is working through the FCC on the upcoming launch of 5G networks in America, and it's created a lot of competition in Washington. A taxpayer group is now urging action on the satellite spectrum. One America's Jack Posobiec sat down with the group's president for this report.
So tell me about this issue that your group is working on right now, the satellite spectrum. What is that and why does it matter to people?
So let's try to keep this so people can understand this. We're talking about spectrum and wireless and being able to connect to 4G and hopefully 5G at some point.
Right, and we all hear that 5G is coming, but nobody really knows how it's going to look yet.
Right, and it is coming. It's going to be a really good thing for taxpayers and consumers. Consumers are going to have super fast internet via wireless. Taxpayers won't have to pay for that super fast internet. So that's why it's good for taxpayers and consumers. And what's happening now is the FCC is going through this process of allocating the spectrum. So these private companies can buy the spectrum, they can deploy the 5G, and we're in the middle of that process now.
This is satellite spectrum,
yes.
So we're talking about not terrestrial, but actually in space.
These satellite companies have had it since the 60s and 70s, and they really haven't used it that well. So what the FCC is saying, we can repurpose it. We want it back because we gave it to you. The FCC gave them the spectrum, and the FCC said, well, we want it back now, repurpose it, and make it more useful. Well, these four satellite companies are saying, whoa, 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 you gave this to us, we want it, and we want to sell it.
We're talking about essentially the FCC having that same level of oversight for what is a strategic national asset of the United States, our satellite spectrum.
That's a key word, is oversight, is that the FCC needs oversight on the sale of the spectrum, but also the use of it. Because we don't know what it's going to be used for if there's a private sale. So we want the FCC, and listen, you know, smaller government is better, and we believe in that, but the FCC has a role. This is part of their role as an agency, is to do the oversight of spectrum and make sure it's utilized. Plus, as taxpayers, we want the money. I mean, let's be honest. It's about money and about tens of billions of dollars that could go to the Treasury from the leasing of the spectrum. That may not happen if the satellite companies sell this in the private market. So taxpayers could get $0 out of an asset if these satellite companies decide to sell it on their own.
Is there a potential talk about foreign companies purchasing into this?
So there are concerns about foreign companies and what they would do with the spectrum, and they may not use it. I mean, a lot of people don't understand this, is that one way to destroy spectrum is not to use it. So you could have foreign operators buy the spectrum and just leave it fallow, just leave it there, and no one gets to use it. We don't get to deploy 5G. So it's whether they use it for nefarious purposes or just leave it alone, and now we don't have access to it.
What are the next steps forward with this decision process at FCC?
So we are trying to convince the FCC to move forward with a public auction. We are trying to convince members of Congress to stop a private sale of this spectrum, and we're trying to make the case that this is a taxpayer asset.
Do you know what the time frame is?
So we could see a decision by the FCC in the next month or two.
Oh, wow.
So we want to trust the FCC process and see how this is laid out.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.